Hi guys, thanks so much for stopping by. So today I will be doing a book review and this is entitled Catching Fire. This is the second book of the Hunger Games series written by Suzanne Collins. Um, yes, a lot of people have read the books, a lot of people have also watched the movies. So anyway, I'm going to give you information from goodreads.com and then we're going to go from there. And I will definitely be giving any spoilers, especially if you have. So if you haven't really read the books or watched the movies, just so you know, if you can't know and you don't want anything to be ruined for you, I would suggest you just skip this video because I will be dropping a lot of spoiler bombs. So this is rated 4.29 out of 5 stars at Goodreads. It says sparks are igniting. Flames are spreading, and the Capitol wants revenge. Against all odds, Katniss has won the Hunger Games. She and fellow District 12 tribute Peeta are miraculously still alive. Katniss should be relieved, happy even. After all, she has returned her family and her longtime friend, Gale. Yet nothing is the way Katniss wishes it to be. Gale holds her at an icy distance. Peeta has turned his back on her completely, and there are whispers of a rebellion against the Capitol, a rebellion that Katniss and Peeta may have helped create. Much to her shock, Katniss has fueled an unrest she's afraid she cannot stop. And what scares her even more is that she's not entirely convinced she should try. As time draws near for Katniss and Peeta to visit the districts on the Capitol's cruel victory tour, the stakes are higher than ever. If they can't prove without a shadow of a doubt that they are lost in their love for each other, the consequences will be horrifying. In Catching Fire, the second novel in the Hunger Games trilogy, Suzanne Collins continues the story of Katniss Everdeen, testing her more than ever before and surprising readers at every turn. This was published back in September 1st, 2009. Genres belong to young adult, dystopia, fiction, fantasy, science fiction, romance. I don't know what else. I think that covered it. Covered it all. So anyway, I have to say this is definitely one of my favorite series, and I love the movies too. I would say if you are a big fan of the movies, I would recommend you read the books because the books is actually just, the books are always going to be a little bit better. Just so you know, book versus movie, when it comes to this series, they did it justice. It was about 95% accurate, literally from the book to the movie. So, or the movies. So, I was pretty happy with that. My husband thinks I'm like such a big dork and a big nerd because I know this story, this series, front and back. Like I love all of it. Jennifer Lawrence looks and embodies Katniss a lot. Pretty much close to 100% for me. Gale the same. Peeta or what's his name? Josh something. What's his name? Hutchinson or something like that. Yes, that's what Peeta's supposed to look like. Maybe a little bit blonde, maybe a lot blonder, maybe. Because he's supposed to be like really blonde. A lot of District 12 is very blonde. And a lot of District 12 looks like Katniss and Gale. So, I just feel like those are really important details from the book that, you know, they tried to as much as possible to be in the movie or the movies. This is my favorite out of the three. And if you have watched any of my book reviews and I have read like a trilogy, a lot of times the second book is usually my favorite. Throughout this whole series or this whole trilogy, until the end, I was always like wondering, you know, what were Peeta's feelings toward Katniss? Like, I didn't really get it in the movie. I I guess I kind of did a little bit, but I had like a lot of doubts. And then in the book, also some doubts. And I remember I was like talking to my husband about it, and he just laughed in my face. Like, he said, yes, it's pretty obvious Peeta is in love with Katniss. And I'm like, really? How is it obvious? I didn't think it was obvious. Anyway, so I am just really in awe of Suzanne Collins's like imagination. Like, she has like just this extreme vivid imagination. The characters in this book is incredibly rich. They're very detailed. I love the fact that they are physically described to the minuscule detail. How Finnick is described. Finnick is described as like a bronze god, bronze hair, bronze body, bronze everything, and like this god, you know? And you know what? When I saw this movie, I was like, yeah, he does look like Finnick. Or what I would embody Finnick, but you know, they can put a lot of makeup and stuff. Anyway, I feel like I'm really torn. I feel like this movie's already been out, this book's already been out so long, like, but I know there are gonna be certain people that probably haven't ever read this, or probably have never watched the movie or movies, and I feel like they're gonna hate me. Anyway, so let's just go to the story. In the beginning of this book, it's really kind of, it really is frosty between Peeta and Katniss, and this is due to the ending of the first book. And if you haven't read that, and in the movie, they kind of explained it a little bit, but they did cut out a big detail in regards to Peeta. And for whatever reason, they changed the ending. I feel like the ending of the book for book 1 was definitely better than the movie version, because it explained a lot more. It was a lot deeper and a bigger reason why they really like distance each other. So I feel like the book really explained that a lot more. With the movie, they changed certain details, and so it's kind of like, really, you know? But I mean, if you just watch the movie, I did watch the movie before I read the books, and it was kind of like, it was kind of like, really? But then it was also kind of like, I guess, you know what I mean? But reading the book and getting the real gist of why, the real detail, really, it feels better. It feels like that should have been a part of it and all that, but for whatever reason they chose to cut up a certain detail, and I'm not even gonna divulge that, because I'm pretty sure that's a big spoiler with a lot of people. So anyway, that's how this book kind of starts in the beginning. And they go through this tour, and it really feels like they're being tortured. Just so you know, the whole series is really Katniss's point of view. So I can just imagine everyone else is not really excited and happy to be in the tour, and having to face the other districts, and having to face the family of the other districts that didn't survive, to look them straight in the face and be like, yeah, I won and your family member didn't, and I have to pretend I'm all happy about that. Like, isn't that just like one of the most twisted, sickest things you've ever heard? And they have to do it. They have to do that. I have read this book and this series probably at least a dozen times. Probably this particular one, The Catching Fire, I have probably read it a little bit more than the other two, just because this is definitely my favorite. Like, Each time I read it, I'm crying. Each time I'm reading it, like, it feels like there's a baby elephant on my chest. I get welled up. I get very emotional. I get very sad. I get a little angry. Like, right now I'm getting emotional again. I feel like I'm gonna cry again. Just like, you know, like remembering the words and the scenario and all that. So I really, really, this is why this is one of my favorite series and trilogy, because no matter how many times I read it, no matter how many times I've even watched the movies, because I love it so much, it still gets me. I mean, yeah, the people in the movies, Jennifer Lawrence is an awesome actress, but my God, the story of this, and I do feel like, you know, if it was a different actress for this, not Jennifer, I really do, I'm a big fan of Jennifer Lawrence, and it's because of this movie she was in, Hunger Games series. She's just a phenomenal actress, and I feel like she really embodied Katniss. I also feel like she made Katniss a lot more likable, because even in the first book, I'm just going to reference the first book. The first book, Katniss really was, where, to me, came off as a very hard, tough, very hard person. And she had to be hard due to her dad, you know, dying. And she had to grow up pretty quick. She had to become the mother and the father for Prim, because her mom became catatonic, essentially, and just kind of just a zombie in their home. So she had to grow up at a very, very young age and had to get food for their mother and her younger sister and stuff like that. And that really made her hard. And I do feel like Jennifer Lawrence really did add a likability factor to her character, because she's not that likable in the books, from my point of view, and especially in the first one. I feel like I'm gonna cry again. I just feel like I'm gonna cry, and it's because I'm reliving the scenarios of this book. I give this book a 10 out of 10 stars, and I give this a 2 thumbs up. I recommend it 1,000%. I still recommend you read the first book first, and then this one, and then the third book, obviously. I recommend you get the trilogy. This is such a beautiful, tragic, sad, gut-wrenching kind of story, and I love it. I love every second of me crying, every single tear, excuse me, every single time, like, I feel like I can't breathe because I feel like a baby elephant's on my chest. Every single pain, every single joy, every single feeling that I felt, I love every single minute of it. If you guys have any other books that you know, similar kind of style writing with romance, please, you know, comment down below. I would love to hear your suggestions. Again, I really love this series, and this is my favorite out of the trilogy. 10 out of 10 stars, 2 thumbs up, definitely recommend. And if you guys have any, you know, opinions, or you want to chit chat about the book, feel free to do that down below. And I'll see you guys again next time. Bye. Thanks so much for watching my video. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and the bell so you are notified every single time I do upload a new video. I do also have 2 other channels. Please do check that out as well. Subscribe and watch my videos there as well. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, please leave them down below. I love hearing from you guys all the time.